Hello, and we're back with Wikipedia Weekly Network. Me and Albin are going to do some live editing on Wikidata today as well, as we did. I guess it was earlier in the week, or was it? No, it was Sunday last week. So, and we felt, yeah, this is going to be. This was fun, and we're going to do it again. And we're also looking forward to see all your comments in, and we're going to try to be lifting them up. So if you do have any questions, feel free to ask. This is going out on Facebook in various groups. We're trying to share it. Feel free to share it in more groups as well so people can find it. And it's going out on the Wikipedia Weekly YouTube channel and also sharing it on some of my private channels. But yeah, feel free to share it more widely. So yes, today we're going to continue editing and do some tricks with some tools, I guess. You got some good ideas, or we were talking a little bit about some graphs on Wikidata, and you became inspired by that.
Yeah, we talked about maps last week, we can mention that, and I was a little bit inspired by that as well, so I'm thinking graphs today. Gonna do some bar charts based on Wikidata.
All right. Do you want to start with that?
I think we could start with your. I guess you have a new item for today.
Yes. So if you don't know it, I do have like a project for the year. I call it 52 Wikidata weeks, and it's inspired by these 100 Wikidays, which is Vasia, who came up with this project where you write a new article every day for 100 days. And I'm doing it now for Wikidata, but I'm doing it for the entire year. But to do a little bit more of a challenge to myself, because creating a Wikidata item is sometimes very easy, I'm trying to do it with a new instance of every week. So it's going to be 52 different instances. So I'm going to have to figure out how the modeling works in various areas. And I'm going to share my screen here to see where we start. So last week, our Prime Minister in Sweden had a speech to the nation, which I thought was quite notable because that's very unusual in Sweden. I cannot remember something like this happening in that sense, like in a time of crisis. So I thought, hey, I want to create an item for that speech. So what I started doing was looking, and I'm gonna need to zoom in a little bit here so that you can see this is the right window I'm actually zooming in. And soon we're gonna have something that is also readable. One more time. Yes, I think this is probably readable. So what I first wanted to see was like, what kind of speeches are there already on Wikidata? So I did this search. So this is instance of and of a speech. Can we see the pop-up? No? There, speech. So that was the first I did, like seeing a little bit, exploring in the field. And if we scroll down, we can see there's quite a lot of different speeches. So I went in to see like how is one of these modeled. Like it's an instance of speech, you have the location, a title, author, and here's a question, do you think he wrote his own speech, Boris Johnson, or did he have a speechwriter? I don't know. He was a journalist before, perhaps, yeah. And of course the speaker and full work available. So we can be able to use all of this, I guess. I found another one which also made me interesting because this one, the State of the Union address, which is as it's every year in the US, the president has a speech addressing the nation. And that had a different kind of instance of. It had a State of the Union address, which made me want to see and go back to my query. And instead of doing the instance of, I went with I'm going to comment this one out just to see like what types of speeches there are. And there were a number of them as well. And I'm not sure if I'm going to find it now because it doesn't have a label in English, but I found here that there is actually a subclass of speech. So this is a speech to the nation of the Swedish type. That one already exists. So this is the instance of that I'm going to use today. So I'm going to create a new item, but I'm going to start with this one because this one doesn't have an English label. So I'm going to start my editing here. I'm going to call this just speech to the nation. And this is speech by Swedish Prime Minister. I'm good with spelling. And perhaps that is capital P and M. So I'm going to polish the Swedish one. We do not want this. Unfortunately, my language skills are quite limited, so I cannot add any more languages now, but that's a good start at least. People are going to be more able to find it. Do you think jurisdiction would be a good property for this one? Or is country enough?
I don't think you would need jurisdiction, so to speak. He isn't doing anything that will have an effect on law, right? In the speech itself?
No, but he's sort of...
I haven't looked at it.
No, I don't know either, but like he's addressing the nation. So yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure like if it would need it, but would it help people find this item in some kind of searches? I don't know. Let's skip it for now. So maybe we're done with this one and go to the actual meat of this session. Create a new item. So here I'm gonna start with Swedish, or yes, because I do have the title, and I'm gonna go with the English one later. Oh. Here we go, Swedish SV, and just copying this one from there, and description. I'm going to say it's the speech to the nation during the coronavirus outbreak. And create. And now we're going to add something in English here. This is probably not a bug, but it feels like a bug, that if you click that too early, you get a different kind of... So you have to wait until the entire page is loaded before clicking editor, so you can stay on this page and edit it. Jurisdiction, we do have some, only if you have a more precise value, like ministry of something. All right, yes, so we'll skip it then. Thank you. And here we call it Rhine Mr. Stefan. Oh, I did not notice. It's quite small there as well. I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little bit. Right, so there's something more findable, and let's now, this is an instance of this very speech to the nation. And there are several kinds for different countries, which is interesting. And publish that. And then we're going to add here. That was the Prime Minister himself. And I guess this one wouldn't really need a reference because it's like in the definition of the label. It's his speech. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But for dates and stuff, that would probably be. So this language of work. Yes. Or is it, what other language used? No, that's something else.
No, I think it should be
language of work, yes.
The work?
Yes, so we'll go with Swedish here. This one we can actually add, I guess, this as reference.
I guess.
And a public. Retrieved today. And do you add a publish date here?
No, not for the language.
Not for the reference. No. Oh, for the reference. Oh, let's go with this.
Right. Mm-hmm.
This is good enough, I guess. Could probably be better. But we want to add well, we could add a title as well again. That is the same as this. And title, of course, is going to prompt us for language. So we'll go for Swedish again here. It seems like my copy thing did something strange. I'm going to remove that. Yes, thank you. And publication date, yes. And this was, when was this? 22nd of March. Guess we can just copy this. No, some in English. That would work, yes. I'm gonna copy all the references later using the tool for that. And then we also had, let's go back to the Boris Johnson here, see what kind of, so location, that would be interesting.
Do you know the location?
No, so I watched this and I couldn't figure out if it is in the Rosenbad or if it's in Riksdagen. And I tried to ping him on Twitter, but he didn't bother to answer me.
Okay. I guess you could do a freedom of information.
Yes. Well, it was interesting because on the version that was on the national broadcaster SVT, it was an ending image of Riksdagen, but that doesn't say that there were actually, because it was obviously an archive photo. But perhaps it was, I don't know. Some people thought that was strange also because he was speaking not as a parliamentarian, but as the prime minister. So, yeah. Oh, what else could we do? We could go with, we don't know the author.
We have a duration.
Oh, well, yes. But is the duration of the video the same as, well, this is the speech, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So you would need to time it somehow.
Oh, you mean I would, he starts and he ends. So this one is cut. So this is the same duration. So we'll actually use that one.
Exactly.
That was good. Good. The duration is what's the 4519? Does that work? No, because I don't want 1 unit, so it's going to be 319 seconds. Yes, good. Publish that. And I guess we can use full work available at as well, since we do have the URL here. And here we have test. Full. We can do the same thing that we did last week. We could also add the copyright status of this, and it is in the public domain. This one I actually looked up, asked a lawyer. Yes, this is a very good one. We're gonna.
Yeah, it is.
Larissa has a very nice. Yes, we're gonna add that. We're gonna add the context, and I think we're gonna use the cost by property for that.
Okay, I think main subject as well.
As well, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now let's first go with this determination method, and now I don't remember how it was formatted. Was it the first paragraph? No. Let's go back to my
article.
Let's check my contributions. I haven't done that much since last time. Yes, here we have Swedish Copyright Act. That's the one. Now I actually looked this up with a lawyer, because I was hoping that the actual video itself would be free, and apparently SVT probably have the copyright for that, so we have to nag them for this. But the text itself, that's public domain. And then we're going to use several things here to go further. So we're going to go cost as cost, and this is the 1920
1920, yeah.
Or 2020 Corona. No, that's not the one.
I think it's the.
I want to go with this. I want to go with the Swedish one. It's older 50 here, and it's a bit tricky since they are all named various things. But I used it in this one that I'd created earlier. So let's go back and see what it actually called. Oh no, yes. So I wasn't even close there. But this one is interesting because this is going to make it possible later on to see all the things on Wikidata that's been caused by.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course the main theme is also this. Main subject, is that the
main subject? Yeah.
Yes. See, also depicts. I don't think we use depicts in this one, unless there's actually something depicted in this. But not really.
No, I think that would just confuse people later on.
Yes.
The depicts one is actually tricky. The semantics of it is can be discussed many times.
Yes. All right. This is starting to get quite. So we only have one reference right now, but I think that reference is actually good enough for most of these. I know what we're going to do. We're going to try what we failed last time. We're going to try to archive this.
Yeah.
So let's grab this again, go to the archive. It can load in the background. We're going to see when it stopped turning. Did it? Yes. So here we're going to go and save the page. Yes, save it. Save the speech to the nation. And we do have Siko is saying the pandemic started in different countries at different points of time. Yes. So I think that's why it's important to use the one that we're actually. All right, this one worked. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back to the first reference, and I'm going to add as a, oh, no, not a new one. I'm going to add archive URL. Yes, there we have it.
Yes.
And publish that. All right. And I think now that I'm quite, unless there's someone in the comments that have any more suggestions for things to add on this, or actually I'm going to check the State of the Union as well. See, and there's a video. Would have been nice. Follows followed by point in time. Oh, this is different. Interesting. Point in time rather than publication date. How does this one? This has both. What do you think? Should I add both as well?
Yeah. Both actually make sense in this case.
All right. Yes, because it was published, but it was also performed, I guess. 2020 03 22. Whoop. Publish. And what else did we have here? Speaker, copyright license, commons category, no. Identifiers. That is interesting. Do you think this might, we do have the Aftonbladet and some newspapers. Do you think this has a topic in there?
That's a good question.
We can do a quick search here. If they do have a good search, go to Aftonbladet. Search. Yes, I clicked. There we go. There is something about it. Now but this is interesting. So it is about the coronavirus. So I'm going to use that one on another thing instead then. So we're going to go back. Not COVID-19, but one more step up, coronavirus. This was there, I guess, yes. So we can add an external identifier on this one. This is the usual rabbit hole.
It is.
You're adding something about a speech, and suddenly you're in the identifiers. Yes, so it jumps around a little bit. Can you see? No. So let's try on the. Where was I dreaming? Or is it the Omni? Yes. So identifier document used by Omni and Aftonbladet. now I'm unsure. Is it just like this?
I think it is.
Let's try to see how it works.
See if it complains. Oh, it does.
Oops. Yes. So why?
But
what
if
did it
you
say?
hover over the yeah, that doesn't really help.
Let's go to this one. Do they want some sort of slug of some? Oh, there's something completely different. Yes.
Oh.
But here's the Aftonbladet. It was this URL tag,
Yeah.
but with coronavirus.
I guess it could have changed since they did a
Oh, probably.
property.
Yes.
It isn't uncommon.
If we go back one step here
Yeah,
and
the
see.
URL has changed as well. Yeah.
How does a formatter URL work with this when it has two different?
Oh, I think one would need to split the properties into two. I think it's outdated totally.
Because now it shows this one. Would I have to do let's see, there's a lot of people talking in there in the chat here. Does the speech have a topic? Yes, we already added that. All right, yes. Location of the speech. Yes, we tried to figure that out, but we don't know where it was actually held. So it was either in Rosenbad or Riksdagen, but we don't know. And then we have another here. Would you also include translations of the speech? Not in this Wikidata topic, and I'm not sure if there are any. Well, let's get back on track and not be derailed by this property. Point in time here. Did I have something else I wanted to add? No, I was looking at this one. No.
I wonder if we should add that it was actually broadcasted in national television.
Oh,
Somehow.
So would that be published in?
Broadcasted, published in, or I guess that could
Or
have multiple
publisher?
ones.
Publisher?
Publisher, if we would just add.
Or is it even a broadcaster? Original broadcaster?
Original broadcaster, I guess. Yeah.
Yep. We have, yes, thank you. And I think I'm quite happy with that. So I'm just going to reload this one to make it possible to use the reference tool. Now it's reordering things as well a little bit. So let's see, where did it go? I had it here on the Swedish, yes. So I have to copy here, and then let's see. Main subject, so we can add it. Insert it here. We can insert this one here. We can insert it here. The duration we can insert here. Point in time as well. Why do we have a warning for it? An entity with speaker should also have a statement location. Yes, but I don't know it. Wait, an entity with speaker should also have a statement participant. Why? That's interesting. Does it say in the... So no discussion about this. That's very strange. Is there something in the proposal discussion, perhaps? Mm-hmm. So this is very interesting. So here it wasn't. So this was added post facto. Let me see. Actually, is... I'm going to put this one up here. What do you think about this one?
I have to look it up.
The constraints sound as if it 3 is about someone who has a speech at the location and with a live audience. Yes, so I guess this one is the rare occasion where there is a speech at the location, but there is no audience in front of him. They are all in front of the screen. So we're just going to ignore that one. But we will insert the reference because it actually says he spoke. Has cause, doesn't really say that there. That one won't need it, that one won't need it. All right. So now I'm just going to try to find a source for that it was actually aired on Swedish television. That should be pretty easy. I even had it in my short links here because that's where I put it the first time. So we'll go back here and add that as a source for the broadcaster. And reference URL. And retrieved. That one will add automatically. And we're going to try to go to the Wayback Machine and save that one as an archive URL so that we have it saved for everyone else if it would. It's fair. Someone is adding a diff here. Do we have edit conflicts? So this one is saved. I'm going to copy this before going back and see what the comments are. Archive URL. Paste that and publish. So now I think I'm done. We're just going to see here what my here is saying. Special diff. Can I copy? No. So let's see if I can do it. What is the number? 8858 433. Where will this take us? Ah, yes. So someone added it. And I think this is one of the weak things with Wikidata is that it's hard to add an edit comment.
It is.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to close this one, and this is my final speech to the nation from Prime Minister Stefan Löfven last Sunday. It's and yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I guess.
And tomorrow you
if
have
you want to do
an author.
What?
Tomorrow
Is
there's
there
an
another one?
author speech to the nation, but from our king.
Oh, all right. I did not know that. All right. It would also be if this was an even more extended session, we could copy the text to Wikistars. But I guess that's going to be something I'm going to do in the week. All right. That was my part of the editing, I guess. So I'm going to stop sharing here and hand it over to you.
Yay! So
Yay, glaciers!
For those of you who followed us last week, I was working on glaciers. I was doing a bit of a Wikidata powered map and such. So I'm actually going to do a follow up on a question we got last week on about how they relate to each other. So this map here, which is a map of glaciers. Let's see if I can open it, and we can zoom in. We can see some geometries, and people wonder how they appear there, and because they are coming not from Wikidata but from OpenStreetMap actually. So we got some questions about how you would connect that. And because you wouldn't do that in Wikidata itself, you would actually do that in OpenStreetMap. So I was thinking about showing that off. So in OpenStreetMap.org, here we have a couple of glaciers, actually the same area as here. Sweden's
yes.
highest point seems to be, or is here. So we could, let's see, I need to zoom in to be able to edit. So we can see here that we have 2 glaciers here, but there are a couple of outer ones. So we happen to have these 2, but not this one. And I think we should have that as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and click edit. I'm gonna let it load. Zoom in far enough. See if I can select the edge of
Glaciers
it.
are very big, yes.
I'm gonna copy this name and just search for it in Wikidata. I think this should be the one. Just double checking because there happens to be several ones with the same name, but this is the one. So I'm gonna take this Q number, go back to OpenStreetMap and add Wikidata. And a cool thing when you use this editor is actually that while we're adding the Wikidata tag, it actually adds several more tags based on Wikidata, because Wikidata is CC0, so it will automatically add more tags based on what's existing in Wikidata.
In the same edit or in the
same
background?
edit, in the background.
Nice.
So,
cool. So if we have a very well-modeled Wikidata item, that will help OpenStreetMap when doing this.
For example, when you add a Wikidata item to a hamburger restaurant, for example, it would also like add the brand that this is Burger King or this is McDonald's and such. So
but I guess we don't have that many hamburger restaurants with Q numbers on Wikidata. There might be some.
And I'm gonna upload this, and that's it. And then it will take, I think it's a couple of hours for it to be a part of, to be ingested into the MediaWiki infrastructure. It takes a while.
Yes. So now it's live on OpenStreetMap, but the planet that Wikimedia is using is
exactly
not exactly the same that is online there. Yes.
So Wikimedia has a copy of OpenStreetMap, which is used, but it's not updated instantly. So that's it. I remember we got questions about it. So
yes, it was quite easy. So it's mostly the finding it in the both places, and then the actual edit is, if you're a Wikidata editor, it's just writing Wikidata and the queue number.
Yeah, exactly. So the barrier to adding these type of things are quite low, actually. So if someone want to get started with OpenStreetMap coming from the Wikimedia community, it isn't that tricky.
Yes, nice.
So that was...
And then, of course, your map here will, in a couple of hours, also show this everyone.
Exactly. So just to follow up from last week, that one. Following maps, Jan and I was actually inspired. I remember I showed this query last week. It's essentially the number of glaciers per country in Wikidata, not a representation of the real world. And we were wondering, hey, we can have graphs in MediaWiki and in articles. Should we be able to take this graph here and put that in an article? And we played around with it a little, but we didn't get it to work. So I was poking around more just a little earlier today. And I didn't get it to work, but I almost got it to work. So I'm going to show up some potential at least.
Okay.
So to show up what we got, I don't know if you have seen this icon. It tends to pop up in some article which are using graphs. Generally, there would be an image here.
Yeah.
I think you can see it blinking. That do not work. It seems to be broken for all Wikidata-powered graphs at the moment. But if we would actually click this, it should be rendering a graph.
Oh, so it's mostly the preview that doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. It's only the preview that's entirely broken. So we actually get a graph based on that. I played around with trying to have it sorted, but I can't
so that is the live Wikidata. So it
so this is
from the query.
The Wikidata query actually.
Nice.
And you can add. I just played around with this for 10 minutes earlier today, but you can add interactivity to it and such.
So how does that one look in the code?
Exactly. I'm gonna actually show off how I created it to begin with.
Yes.
So if we would go back to Wikidata, we have a lot of opportunities here for visualizing this one. We could just use a bubble chart, for example, to see the countries. But we also have something called Graph Builder. And I'm gonna select that one. I don't know if we have anyone watching who has used this before. I don't think it's one of the common ones. So we see the data we queried, and we see some options. I'm just gonna say that we want a bar chart. And then I'm gonna start dragging in my options here. Like we have count and we have a label. And we actually get a graph like that. And now I can click export, and I got a lot of information here. What we are actually looking for is this data part. We can actually see here that it adds Wikidata, SparkQL query, and a little more. Actually, something I found out was that you have to delete this part. I'm gonna look on Fabricator if I can fix it later. But so you have to change it like that. Replace query.wikidata.org with the /. And then we only want this data part.
Yes. Do you think you can zoom in once a little so it gets a little bit bigger text? Yes, that's a little bit better. Yes, thanks.
So we had a data part. I copied everything under that. Gonna jump back into again. This is only edit source. We have to live with it. And then here we have this map frame tag for the map. But if we go under here, so I have something called graph. So generally when you use graphs on Wikipedia for maps and such, powered often by Wikimedia Commons or files there, you would not use the graph tag itself. It would be some type of template that tends to use them. I think there's been a lot of discussion this week about using one for showing the spread of the coronavirus.
Yes.
So what I would do here is just to replace everything within data. So now it's the same query, it wouldn't do any difference. But I just
Yes.
paste that in there. I had some options here, like how large I want it to be. I had to play around a little bit with the padding to make things work. And very importantly, I had to add this mode interactive, because this otherwise it would only render this thumbnail, which doesn't work for Wikidata powered queries at the moment. So that was actually it. So you can almost, I would say, build queries from this editor built into the Wikidata Query Service UI, which is very neat, or could become very, very neat.
Yes. So I suspect this is already filed as a bug in Fabricator. The preview doesn't show up.
I haven't looked for that one specifically, but I will later on.
Yeah. Yeah, see, it seems like it's obvious if you start to play around and you see, oh, it's broken.
So all of the examples as well in the documentations are also broken. So I think it should be reported.
Just thinking from the top of my head right now, but the click that you're doing to get it to load, could you do that with a user script? So as soon as you enter a page with a graph, you click the interactive, the play button?
Yeah, you could do that, yes.
That would be
it would be very much of a hack.
Yes, hack workaround, but yes.
So
all right.
I think this has a lot of potential.
It sure
I think
does.
you can do a lot of advanced things here with this editor and with this syntax overall. Like, for example, sorting, if I would only sort it out.
Sort out the sorting. Yes, that's it's very high potential, I guess, and we see a lot of people updating numbers about the coronavirus and the spread and the causes it has on Wikidata. And of course, it would be if we could generate things like this instead of also having to copy them into bar charts hard-coded on Wikipedia, it would reduce the workload and also make it much more reusable across language versions.
Exactly.
Because now you have to do it or everywhere.
Possibly just to have a template that takes a queue number for glaciers to have it generate a bar chart per country, so to speak. So you could make it a very low barrier for editors who doesn't know Wikidata as well.
Yeah. All right.
Would you like to take over, Jan, for a second?
I can take over for a second. So
I think it has to tend a lamp here.
It's getting dark up in Sweden already. I'm a little bit more south of you. All right. So let's stop sharing there while you go and get some lights. I'm going to try to share my screen here again. And we're going to walk back. So this is what I'm thinking about. So here's the pandemic. This is the item for Sweden. This one, yes. So here we have a number of deaths and we have point in time. And it's quite easy to see that you could make a query to get these in a nice little bar graph as well.
Yeah.
And that would make the use case for the bar charts and the graph editor in general, and having that easy to transfer to a Wikidata client like Wikipedia. this would be super useful, I guess.
Yeah, and this graph editor actually supports things like line graphs and other type of charts as well.
We should probably ping the Wikidata project for COVID-19 with this, because I guess that is something they might be interested in. And if we're a couple of people trying to figure out how to get it work, we are a bit more likely to succeed.
Yeah.
Maybe I can show that as well. I think it's just called Wikidata. Is it project or is it Wiki project? Wiki project, I think, is that. Yes, Wiki project. And then probably capital. Try this. No match was found. Huh. Yes, so these we should probably ping and link to this part of the video so they can actually see it.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So I think that might be, if you don't have anything more for now, we might call it a day.
Yeah. We could.
And yes, and then we might be back next week again, I guess. All right. Thanks, Alvin, for joining tonight, and thank you for everyone watching.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.